my geography is screwed up.
Your geography is? Oh, hi everybody. His geography's screwed up, so I'm not sure what we're going to learn tonight, but I'll try to keep him in line. Hi everybody, welcome to Wino Wednesday featuring Tempranillo.
We're back finally.
We're back. It's been a while, Rob. We think it's a month.
Has it been that long?
It might have been. It might have been. Well, we welcome you all back. I'm happy to be back, and I'm anxious for this cheese plate, anxious for some wine, and anxious that you all are here. My name is Gina. I'm the cheese whiz at Venissimo.
And I'm RobbyG, the professor of cheese.
Yes, he will be giving you all the facts. I will be drinking the wine and giving my interpretation of how everything goes together.
In my geography, which might not be right.
That's right, that's right. For those of you out there that are new to this, we do field questions via the YouTube chat function. And now anybody can chat, so you don't have to have a YouTube account to do that. So we'll try to get to everybody's questions as we can. And what other housekeeping things, Rob, do we need as I pour my first bit of Tempranillo?
We missed you guys. We've been doing some events in person, and I think we had some other wine events. Like we've collaborated with some local wineries and wine bars, and so that's probably why we haven't been here for a while.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's to do the mix now, right, Rob? In-person events, virtual events, mixed events, hybrid, I guess they're called.
Yeah, we'll see how that all.
But it's really
plays
good.
out.
But I'm kind of with a lot of people. I like this kind of sitting home, kicking back, and being calm. Right?
I do so many events from home now, virtual events, and I love it.
It's so good, right?
It. Yeah.
It's more personal, personable. I don't know, but it's just somewhat personal. Even though we are at a distance, we can kind of see you and feel you. In fact, Jason has already chimed in to say hello. Hello, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
And Megan.
Exactly.
I just like not having to drive. I like not having to park. I like not, just I like being home. Yeah,
I like it.
Hanging out in my boxer shorts because from the waist up.
Okay, he's not in his boxer shorts. In case you're wondering, well, we won't tell. Well, should we lay out what's on the plate first, Rob, before we dive into this wonderful wine, which I will salute in just a minute?
Okay, yes. So we'll go in the order as we always do.
Okay.
Manchego El Trigal.
Oh, there he is.
The middle, this guy, and it's got this kind of like the cross.
Do we call it a weave or something on the rind there?
It's Sparto grass, but it's a wax rind. Don't swallow it whole. The Sant Mateu Pau.
Sant Mateu Pau, yes, is right here. It's the whitest one. It's really similar looking to the other one, but this one's in a triangle shape and it's very white.
I'm glad you did that because I've never seen that cheese before.
It's okay, Rob. So there's been many versions of Pau, but it was when we first opened, like 17, 18 years ago when we first had it. I haven't seen it since. It is now back. So this is a hard to get cheese. So this will be real interesting to talk about.
Well, I was reading up on it. We'll get to it, but I'll ask when we get to it.
Okay.
I have some questions about it.
Oh gosh, what if he stumps me? I don't know.
Quadrello di Buffalo.
Quadrello is our little square, kind of
softer.
Squarish, softer, a little wibbly. Yeah.
That's a natural rind. Same with the last one, the Sant Mateu
Pau.
It sounds French, isn't it? Spanish.
It does sound French, but we'll talk why.
Okay, all right, take it easy. All right, the next one is the Shaft's Blue.
And that one I'm going to try to lift up without making a complete mess of myself. And that one's self-explanatory, probably which one that is. With the blue veining, yes.
And lots of great accoutrements. Very, very Spanish. The first one is, hey, panini, he smells something.
This is panini for those of you who have never seen or met panini. When the cheese comes out, he comes out. So.
He's hoping we spill.
Yes.
The quince paste.
Yeah. Membrillo.
Yeah, membrillo is quince in Spanish. That's we'll
talk about that.
Nice and sweet classic pairing with certain cheese, especially Manchego. Chorizo.
Oh, yeah. So that's the charcuterie on the plate today.
Chorizo Iberico. That's a little bit of a spicy one. And then our rosemary, as always.
Our favorite herb.
The kiwi, which is cut into like a beautiful kind of design there.
Yeah, you can all thank Mission Hills for putting this together. The beautiful kiwi.
Did they carve it like by knife, or do they have some kind of contraption?
No, they have a by hand.
Okay, is that a honey?
Honey.
Ooh.
Honey.
Nice. Okay, Marcona almonds. Those look like Castelvetrano olives, the green olives.
The green olives, Castelvetranos.
And then some dried fruit.
Yep, which is a dried peach.
Beautiful. I love the dried peaches. They're so
like the peach.
So nice and
they're so peachy.
Aromatic.
So, Panini, I'm going to have to sit you down, buddy. You can't just hover here all night and steal from the show. So, salute, I guess is what we say, right?
Yes.
In Spanish. And it's tapa hour, happy hour. George is on too. Hey, George.
Hey, George.
Welcome.
Long time no see.
Let's take a sip, shall we, Rob? Oh, gosh,
Do
it's
it.
been a while since I've had a Tempranillo. Oh, I like it. From the region of Rioja. But what's the difference between Rioja and Tempranillo?
Well, Rioja is the region. Tempranillo is the grape.
Can I ever have a Rioja wine?
Yeah, this is a Rioja wine. You can say it either way.
Yes.
It's a Tempranillo and it's a Rioja.
And a Rioja.
Yeah.
But did you know that a Rioja can have Tempranillo grapes in it? A Rioja wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It usually has Tempranillo grapes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not all. Doesn't have to be 100%.
Yeah.
There
sure.
we go.
It's like saying like a Bordeaux can be a blend, or it can be Cab, or it can be Merlot. It can be a lot
Many
of
things.
different grapes.
Yes, exactly.
Did you know where the name of Tempranillo comes from?
No, I do not. Professor, do tell.
It comes from the Spanish temprano, which means early, and it refers to the fact that it ripens early for a red grape, especially compared to some other Spanish red grapes.
Okay.
But it's I've heard Rioja called a lot of things, including the Spanish Bordeaux, and they call
give it that.
And so we were just talking. I think you probably caught us at the end of our. We were talking earlier about geography. And I got confused because Gina said, it borders the Basque region. And I was thinking that the Basque region was in the south of Spain, but it's the south of France, the north of Spain.
Exactly, because the way the countries sit, you're like, wait, that's south, that's north. The way they touch.
But if you go through the Basque region, so you go through Spanish Basque and then French Basque, and then Bordeaux is pretty close to there. There is a road that pilgrims used to take to go to the Santiago Compostela.
I was trying to come up with the word and beat me to it. Yeah.
Which is in Galicia, or Galicia, however that's pronounced, which is north of Portugal. So it's like the northwest corner of Spain.
Yep.
But people would come down through the south of France, through Rioja and the Basque region, and then go, and that was like the Mecca, for Christians. Yeah. And
people still do that to this day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They even walk it. But that was like an early form of globalization. So people came from Bordeaux, passed through Rioja, and they taught the folks in Rioja how to make wine similar to the way they made it in
Bordeaux. This is how they cross. Okay.
And one thing about Tempranillo is it is considered kind of like a neutral grape. And that means that they do well in blending, but they also do well in oak aging, which is what Bordeaux is known for a lot of their reds.
Their oakies.
So it's delicious. It fit it well.
This is one we should be playing Spanish, guitar music in the background, because this is definitely what you walk into a tapa bar and have a glass of wine, have your olives, have your tapas in the afternoon every day. This is definitely it. I love it. Eguia. I'm gonna slash these Spanish words, but Eguia, delicious.
Yeah, they're right there, and of course Tempranillo is grown everywhere. It's grown in a few other regions in Spain, grown in New Zealand and Australia, of course the United States. It is the fourth most planted grape in the world.
Oh wow! Okay.
The first in Spain, of course. Tempranillo, and I've heard plummy, strawberry-y.
Definitely, good ones.
The best one I read though was the best one I read was nail polish remover.
Okay, no,
but in a good way.
No. That it smells like it or it tastes what? Okay, I've heard leather, tar, peat. Moss.
I love that
nail
smell.
polish
I like
remover.
chemically polishy smell.
You do?
I love it, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
do you smell that?
Alcohol?
No, like polish?
Not really.
The words. I got to come up with better words because nail polish. Who would think?
But yeah, the grapes were the wine is first made in that part of Spain by the Phoenicians, who were there for a couple thousand years. Yeah. And then they sort of fell off a little before the Romans became in power.
Okay.
Around the time of Jesus.
Way back. Drinking the wine, making good wine. Well, this family has been making it since the 1930s. And their land where they're growing these grapes is kind of right at that border that we're talking about in that Basque region of Spain. Spain. It's a little more arid there, is my understanding, which is why I think there's lots of great Tempranillo grapes grown up in, even in Temecula, there's some Tempranillo grapes grown, and where it's more arid, a little more dry, you said, maybe. Maybe because it ripens so quickly, like you said. Kind of good. Anyway, this is like an award winner. It's gotten 90 points, 91 points, 91 points, silver medal, and oh my god, I'm gonna have to go put him away. Panini.
He can hang.
Okay, all right. You hang with RobbyG. You hang with RobbyG.
But
I like it. I like it a lot.
Rioja means that I love looking up the names of.
Oh, you love origins.
I
of
do.
The names. Yes.
Because it tells you so much, and especially with cheeses and wines. But the word Rioja means. Well, what does it sound like? What does Rio mean? You know what Rio means.
It means Rio de Janeiro. I don't know what Rio means.
Right.
Is it? It
river,
really does
river.
Mean? Oh, Rio. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Of course, the Rio Grande.
The Rio Grande.
The Rio Grande.
So
river?
Yes. And Ojo, Rio Ojo. So Ojo is a tributary of the Ebro. And the Ebro is like the biggest river in the river valley that goes through down from the north to south. Yeah. And so that's what it's named for.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes you hear it called the Iberian Peninsula. That refers to all of Spain and like little parts of France,
teeny bit,
even Gibraltar. But that origin comes from Ebro. Basically means like people of Ebro. And you can hear how it even sounds kind of similar.
It does. Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I love that history.
I do too.
Of the words.
I should, if I can go back to school, that's probably something I would study. Yeah. I do like it.
That is good. Well, should we see how it tastes with the Manchego? Because we got to start kind of there.
That's the classic.
That is classic. We knew we had to do it because I think you cannot not do it. Not eating Manchego while you're sipping in a Spanish wine is like not getting chips and salsa at a Mexican restaurant, right? Yeah. I mean, that's just, they go together. So we had to put them together.
Do we have to put quince on it too?
You should do it without quince and then with quince.
Okay, here, you know what? Take that whole piece. I'll take this whole piece.
And we'll feed you the little waxy end. And if you eat the waxy end, you're going to be okay. So you don't have to worry about that. But...
Hey, there's a little like flour thing on mine. Can I eat that?
You can eat that. Mm-hmm. This one's really chewy.
I'm just kidding.
Panini. Okay. Well, you talk about the Manchego. I gotta set him aside. This is getting a little.
And
crazy.
I'm gonna put
Pardon me.
a little piece of quince on there, but I'm not gonna bite this yet until Gina comes back. So Manchego, you guys, it is the sort of the king. I would say it's the king of Spanish cheeses. Speaking of names, the name just means that it's from La Mancha, which is that region right in the middle. And Gina was talking about the wine coming from kind of more of an arid terrain. Well, that part of Spain right in the middle is very arid. It's very dry. It is maybe most famous from Don Quixote.
Oh, that's right.
He was the man from La Mancha. But remember the windmills in the book, in the story? Yeah. And so, like, think about all the places where you see the windmills, like in California, near Altamont and stuff. It's always out there in the kind of dry, arid places. So that's La Mancha or Manchego. It's always made with a particular breed of sheep, which are called La Mancha sheep.
La Mancha sheep.
It's always has to be sheep's milk. They have to be aged a minimum of 3 months. We never get, I shouldn't say never, we rarely get them that young. This has got to be closer to what, 9 months?
That's what I'm thinking, 6 to 9. Just to the texture, it's a little bit of that, it's still got a chewiness to it and a softness to it, and it's not as nutty as some of the older Manchegos get. Yeah. So I think this one's really mild.
There's I get a little crunch in it.
Yeah.
The wax rind on it it's not a natural rind, and it's a little bit different than it would have been a few hundred years ago. Back in the day, they used to age this cheese, like they did this with a lot of cheeses in grass. It was called a sparto. It's called a sparto grass, and it's a certain type of grass. It kind of like imagine like the cheese being wrapped in something like this, and it indented when they pressed it down. It kind of like left this indentation on the rind. Now it's a wax mold that they put it in, made to look like a sparto grass.
It has that little weaving to it.
Yeah.
Too bad it's not still in the grass.
I know.
But I mean, the true artisanal makers still, some of them are making it that way.
Absolutely.
We just can't get it that way.
There are a lot of the European classics, like some French cheeses as well. That one is the one from Normandy that gets wrapped in the bulrush.
Livaro.
Which they make a version for us that is wrapped in paper.
Yeah.
And then they have one that stays local that's wrapped in a
truly
twine.
The twine, like the real rope, like
and it's so sad, but it's for FDA. It's because of E. coli and things
blah,
like
blah.
that. Blah 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 blah.
Blah blah blah.
Do you know that's the new line from who was the environmental girl, the little girl that was Greta Thunberg.
Greta.
That's her new line.
Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, she goes blah 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 blah. That's her. That's
I like it. That's what we're doing. Blah 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 blah.
It used to be how dare you. Now it's blah blah blah.
Blah 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 blah. Well, I like it. I love it with the quince. And if we can talk about quince paste, which really is like a jelly.
Yeah.
Right? It's a really firm jelly. And quince, if you don't know the fruit, it's not edible raw. It kind of looks like a yellowish, round, kind of orangey looking, but it's not mottled on the outside. If an apple and a pear got together, I guess you would say that's a quince. But on its own, unless you cook it down and make a paste or a sauce, way too tart, inedible. But they grow crazy good in Spain, so the Spanish decided we'll make this paste out of it, and it goes so good with the cheese. It's just like any other jam. It's that sweet with the salt makes it perfect.
Yeah.
But this is the quintessential Spanish pairing. Manchego with quince paste, and toss in a Spanish Marcona almond on top of that, and you've got what you're going to see in every tapas bar everywhere you go in Spain. And here's a factoid, Professor.
Okay.
Did you know that Spain has the most bars of any country in the world?
Really?
That was a great Spanish tidbit. Yeah, so there's just a bar after bar after bar after bar to sit down, have some wine, have some tapas.
I guess they have a different
right?
concept than most places do about eating. It's kind of like you just go and snack.
You snack all day, yeah. Take a siesta, snack again.
Like a sheep and graze.
Like a sheep and graze, yeah. And you do really well. Pardon me one more time. Keep going, Professor.
Yeah, I would say this. Gina, have you been to Spain?
Yes.
Gina, okay. For those of you who have been to Spain or not, my one bone to pick with Spain is you have a bone to pick. Is the siesta time.
Yeah.
When I remember getting there, and it was like midday, and I was starving, and I was like, "Oh, it's noon, it's lunchtime. Let's go grab a bite to eat," because I'm starving.
Yeah, couldn't do it.
No, there was not one place open, and people looked at me like I was
from another planet.
Yes, just for even asking about food, like at noon. And I was so angry at Spain when I arrived. I was happy with Spain by the time I left, but I was not happy at first. It took me a little bit to adjust.
To the Spanish way of life. It's a good way of life, though, Rob. They live longer than most cultures in the world, too.
Yeah, no, it
must be a good thing.
I get it. They have the whole Mediterranean thing, and olive oil instead of butter. I mean, what do you think about going out at like 11 or 12 for dinner?
At night?
Yeah.
I love that.
What? What's wrong with you?
Because you're Mr. Early Bird. I'm just like, ooh, let me stay up late. And then like sleep late. Yeah. So isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I think it's okay, but you're right. Nobody goes to dinner before. 9 is like the early bird special, right? Blue plate special.
Oh, I was there at like 8:30 lined up, like, let's go, come on, open up.
Open up. That's why you have to start in all these little bars and have your little nibblies beforehand. Right?
Well, so all the tapas bars are just like, olives and
almonds,
chorizo, jamon, which just means ham, serrano jamon, iberico jamon, all that good stuff. I mean, the food is just amazing.
Yeah.
The serrano jamon and manchego is like that's the Spanish ham and cheese sandwich.
Yeah, that's right.
Beautiful. Okay, so that's the manchego. I suspect that most of you have probably had it or at least have heard of it before.
Is it not the most popular export of Spain, manchego?
Just in general?
In general, I believe. If not that and serrano jamon, the two together. Food-wise. Yeah. Sorry. Food-wise.
Yeah, what else would be really...
well,
wine. I mean, you've got... Sherry is a big one.
Sherry's big. We're not so big into sherrys here, but they are there, and they're delicious. We need to do a sherry night because super fun, super good with cheese.
Sherry is named from the town called Jerez, from Frontera de Jerez, which is Andalusia in the south, and it's so it was probably brought over by the Spanish explorers.
conquistadors.
The conquistadors, and they think that maybe Rioja was brought over by them as well.
Well, they should have brought more. It's so funny that it's just not as popular here of a varietal, or none of the Spanish things are as popular here, and that to me is a travesty because they're all so good. Right?
Yeah, they didn't nail, for whatever reason, some of the marketing stuff like the Italians or the French did on some of the products, right?
Yeah, and they should, because get this too. Did you know that 44% of the world's olives for olive oil are grown in Spain?
I was just going to tell you this.
Yeah.
Wait, were we? You weren't on the... So we just did a day trip last weekend or 2 weekends ago.
Yes, I was...
You were out of town. We went to the Temecula Olive Oil Company, and he gave us that stat, and I was like,
Spain.
Wait a second.
Italian...
Yeah, every bottle of olive oil in the grocery store says product of Italy.
Yep.
He said they're all from Spain, or most of it is from Spain.
There.
Yeah. And then somehow Italy buys it all, that repackages it, and then sends it out. Most of the lower quality stuff. But he said, it's mostly from Spain. Like they're the biggest producer.
Yeah, crazy, right? Who knew?
Anyway, I had a fun one about Manchego. So it's from La Mancha. Oh, the name of the region, Castile-La Mancha.
Isn't Castile a castle? No.
Yeah, that's where that word comes from.
Yeah.
But the word La Mancha comes from the Arab Al-Mancha. Al-Mancha, which means the dry land, which is exactly what we were just talking about.
That arid. Okay.
And remember, in Spain, you had the Moors that came up, who were Muslim, who came up from the south, from northern Africa, and so that's why there's kind of like a mix with their language and with their buildings and architecture of that influence along with the Christian influence.
That's crazy. Really I don't think anybody knew that was Muslim before. Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah. And what about the language? Like you said, so Spanish, second most spoken language in the world. You know, the number one, which shocked me.
Well, is it Chinese?
It is. Do you know which Chinese specifically?
I only know Mandarin. And
Mandarin Chinese.
Okay.
You got it.
I mean, I could probably think of another. So
Mandarin Chinese followed by Spanish are the top two languages spoken the most in the world.
And then English after that?
I didn't look after that.
It could be sign language. No, seriously, I'm not even kidding about that.
It could be sign language. That's an interesting. I wonder where that falls into the realm of languages.
Yeah, I wonder when Chinese took over. Because I know it would have been English not too long ago.
Yeah. I don't know.
They call it. Don't they call it lingua franca when people like if I were in English, I think is probably the. So I had a debate about something with somebody one time. So are we talking about primary language? Because I bet a lot more Chinese people speak English than English people speak Chinese.
I think it's native language or first spoken. It has to be because most of the world, English is the universal language.
That's the lingua franca. So if I'm in a random place in the world and there's a Chinese person and a Polish person and an Italian person, it's very likely that we'd be communicating in English because that's usually the second or third language that most human beings in the world learn. Would that be accurate? Okay.
I think that's super accurate. I would not debate. I would debate on your side. I would support your stance.
Maybe somebody knows better. Jason, George, you guys are smart guys. You probably know.
Smart guys. George is eating Serrano Jamon with his. I want some. I'm going to go to the chorizo in a minute.
George with the whole the leg and cutting it off. Yes.
Okay. The greatest thing about the leg, if anyone when you go to Spain, you would see this. And if you remember in the delis, Rob, the legs just hang from the
dripping fat.
Dripping, yes, from the ceiling. And we're talking Barcelona is not a cool climate. It's a hot place to live. It gets 100 degrees. It's warm. We were there in that time of year, and there they are. The legs are just hanging. There's a dozen of them in any little deli. But they had their little snow cone cups right underneath the hoof, and then the fat would literally drip down into these cups. Guarantee they use that fat in cooking and something else.
Or confit.
Or something. But how cool is that? That's just so real. I love that. Anyway.
I pronounced the T in confit. Am I lame?
Why? You are lame. Confit. You're the professor.
Speaking of Barcelona, should we go to Barcelona now?
Let's go to Barcelona.
Or outside of Barcelona?
Let's do it.
This is the Sant Mateu Pau.
P-A-U, pronounced Po. But this is goat. So now, we started with the sheep. We all like this.
I want to try it with the honey.
But this is outside of Barcelona, which is part of Catalonia. when you hear about Catalan being kind of its own area of Spain, they just kind of wanted to separate from Spain. Didn't they have their whole, like, get me out of Spain, we want to be our own, the Catalans, right? Catalonia. So that's where Barcelona is, and this is nearby, Pau.
Yeah, they pulled a Texas.
a Brexit. A Brexit.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing that there was a lot of, like, the regions in Spain are so, they're so, like, independent. I mean, they have their own culture, they have their own language, they have their own food history, because you've got the Basques with their whole thing. And it's like I think you're a Basque first, and then maybe Spanish second. That's kind of how
you categorize, or
and you can even say the same thing about Catalan. You speak what's the language?
Catalan.
Catalan. I don't know.
Yes,
but it's a little bit different than regular Spanish.
And the biggest thing is that they pronounce things with the So, I'll give an example though. Why am I drawing a blank on a word? They use TH. Barcelona. So it's not Barcelona, that's exactly it. It's Barcelona with a TH. Yeah. So when you hear them talk, you're like, that sounds like you're lisping. And that's very Catalan.
Yeah, they have, I mean, there's like, I'm trying to think, like Galicia, they've got their they're Gallegan, and they have their own language, and so, I know that I know a little bit about the history when Franco was in charge, and he was a dictator, he was in charge for a long time, he sort of tried to, like, take that away, and he wanted, so they built up the capital. They put Madrid right in the middle of the country. You notice it's right in the middle?
It like dead center in the middle of the country.
That was done on purpose because they wanted to bring it all together and kind of do away with all that regional.
Interesting.
They wanted it just to be all about Spain as a country, and so he kind of thwarted a lot of, like, the local cultural stuff, including food, and it had an effect on cheeses. So, like, there were certain cheeses like this one, and like Garocha, which is another one from that region, that they kind of went away, or they were almost made like moonshine, like underground during Prohibition.
That's so crazy, right? Moonshine cheese.
And then when Franco was gone, and we started getting into the 80s, and there was like this whole renaissance happening really all over the world, a lot of these old cheeses came back because they were still being made. They just weren't commercially
viable. Yeah. Well, this is very mild of a goat.
Yeah, I already
had. Of all goats I've had, I like the rind the best, Rob.
Yeah.
Are you going to eat it?
I did.
You, okay, that's the Manchego. Okay.
No, I didn't eat the wax rind. Did you eat the wax rind?
No, I gave it to the dog.
No, she's chewing on it like gum.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I read about this was Sant Mateu is the name of kind of an older cheese from the region that this guy brought back, and he named his son's name is Pau. P-A-U.
Okay.
And so it's a combination of the old cheese, the classic cheese with his son's name, and it's got a natural rind. It's goat's milk.
I love the rind.
It's
stony.
It is. It's a lot like Garocha, actually.
It is. How similar they are. Again, lots of goats in that region, and so you're going to get that cheese. But this one's just pleasant. I think this one. I have beets in the fridge. I kind of want to just have a slice of beet with this, just because goat cheese and beets go so good.
Yeah, kind of earthy with and the sweetness too.
Yeah, I like it.
It's complimentary.
I think it's going to be good with the dried peach, so I'm going in with that.
We went to. I took my dad, my uncle, and my brother to visit a producer, and it was in the foothills of the Pyrenees, which I'm guessing is probably pretty close to where this cheesemaker does his thing. And they made Garocha, and I remember. He would collect all the whey, and he fed the whey to his horses. So that was a new one for me. Usually I see the whey get used for ricotta or for the pigs.
The pigs,
but
not for horses.
Yeah, but he used it for horses.
Nothing goes to waste. That's so perfect.
Nothing ever goes to waste.
I love that. Now, I suggest everybody try the Pau with the olive as well, because a killer combination everybody always, I think, is goats with olives. I don't know. I love that together.
That's good.
It's always a favorite. Delish. I love it. But very mild again. We've started very, like, pleasant. These are easy eaters.
It's
nothing too offensive yet.
No, it's fairly mild. The age on this one is listed as 45 days.
Wow, that's super young.
But then they say that it's usually about 60 days by the time it gets to a place like Venissimo.
Okay.
I mean, and then we'll have it for a few days maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So this is probably about a 2-month-old cheese.
I like it. I like it a lot.
And the goat's milk means it'll be fairly mild usually. Good stuff.
It doesn't have the stink of a goat, the goatiness of a goat to me at all.
Well, when they age, it kind of you lose some of that. I wasn't sure, to be honest, if when I read the description, I thought maybe it was going to be a little bit softer and like a little bit stinkier, but
not at all.
No, it's mild.
This is a pleasant. Slice it off. I would put this on the counter and just slice it off every time I walked by the counter.
So they said that it's always it's a farmstead cheese for most of the year.
Yeah,
which
what that means, right?
It means so that they take the milk from one farmer's animals. I don't think the farmer is the same as the cheesemaker. I think he probably gets it from a neighbor. That's how the guy I visited. That's how he did it.
Yeah.
And it just said that they only supplement during the summer when the output is a little bit lower. So most of the time it's a farmstead cheese.
Okay.
But that's a very insider.
Yes, exactly. Does it make a difference? Sometimes. Yeah. It's
Probably
hard
not
to
really.
say. I think so many factors go in. Quality of milk, of course, but how long it's aged, how it's aged, where it's aged.
Love. The love the cheesemaker puts into it.
Yes. It's just like food. Remember that? It goes to that movie, Big Night. When you put love in the food, it tastes so much better, right? It does. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree.
Being stupid. What's new?
I'm not going to comment on that. Next cheese.
Ooh, the next one is very unique.
This is unique.
I don't know if we've done this one for one of these Wino Wednesdays before.
I think it was a long time. Long time ago.
I want some of the
I remember when.
Buffalo milk, when it's not fresh mozzarella, which usually it is, has a very the texture is just like it's so, how do I describe it? Like pasty. It's fatty.
Smell this, everybody. Definitely smell it.
Oh man.
Tangy. Like this is funk.
Yeah.
A little bit of funk. But tang.
And yes, that's a natural rind, and yes, there's a little bit of mold on it.
And yes, you can eat it.
And I'm gonna eat it. Watch.
Me too. Look at you.
See?
Because sometimes we leave and there's a pile of rinds where Rob was. Not today.
The only thing I have left is a pit.
Okay, that's good.
Olive pit and a wax rind.
Okay. Just saying.
Am I in trouble?
You're not in trouble. Wow, this one tangy. Gamey. Yeah. Because one reason, the buffalo milk. And when we talk buffaloes, we're talking water buffaloes, right?
Not American bison.
Nope.
They produce very little milk, really high in fat. So it's. I mean, they're sweet, they're tangy, gamey, all that stuff.
The name Quadrello di Buffalo is because it comes in a square shape, a quad. So the form is square. We don't have many cheeses that come in square shapes, but this is one of them. So that's kind of unique.
Well.
I love the natural rinds. This
is off memory, so hopefully if memory serves. This is from Lombardy. Am I right about that?
I think you're right.
Okay. And it's
Italy.
Yeah. And so the cheese, the famous cheese that comes from there is Taleggio. Yes. And that is the Italian stinky cheese, which is always cow's milk. And Taleggio is also known as a stracchino. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, yes. Which you have to tell is
stracchino. It means tired cows.
Isn't that funny?
And it's because Lombardy is right when you come down from the Alps and you start to get into the flats, a little bit flatter. The cows have just finished their journey of transhumance, and they are tired. And it's at that point when they're kind of dehydrated that they produce a fattier milk. For whatever reason,
but more concentrated.
It's more concentrated
somehow, and it's really good with the wine. I have to say.
But so this is kind of like it might even be made by the same producers that make a Taleggio, and so it's the same shape. The difference is they're just using buffalo milk, and it's not quite the wash is different, and I don't know if that's just because the milk reacts differently, like buffalo milk, but like Taleggio wash is more of like that pinkish or orange.
Yeah, it's got to be more briny. I bet you this is more brushed, like lightly. You know? I'm going into the honey with this one, Rob, and everybody should try this. Just dip your little piece of cheese in the honey. I think that's fabulous. I don't know why we don't have honey, like a pot of honey on every table. when we eat cheese. We should. Because together that's amazing.
I almost lost a Marcona almond.
So we have a question, Professor, from George. Are there any rinds that are not edible? Just for future reference, like what would you not eat when you see a rind?
Well, you'll know, George. Like, I mean, you'll know the ones that you don't want to eat, and maybe I shouldn't even call them rinds, but the ones that are wrapped in, foil and wax, obviously. But really, it's the ones that are aged for a long time that get to be so hard that they would just break your teeth. Parmigiano Reggiano is probably the best example of a cheese that you know and that you've seen the rind on. But a lot of those northern Italian cheeses that are kind of in that, like, the region where Asiago comes from, and Montasio, Veneto, so like the Piaves, Asiagos, Montasios, those are hard cow's milk cheeses. They're almost like they're sort of like a mix between a Parmesan and an Alpine, because they're kind of made up there in that in between area, and the rinds are just hard. I mean, they're
hard as rocks. So the only way to eat it, but this is what Italian kids do. They do the Parmigiano Reggiano rinds. Everybody, never ever throw them away. First, foremost, if you have this hard edge, keep them and toss them in a stew or a chili or a soup, because it just imparts really good flavor when you do that. But little kids in Italy will heat the rind like over a flame, like on the stove, to make it more pliable, and then just chew on it. It's almost like a rope, I don't know, you're just chewing on it. But you don't swallow, it's too hard to like chew and swallow, but you can chew it and just get the great flavor out of it. Isn't that crazy?
I don't know why I never thought about putting it just right on the stove.
Right on the stove. They'll just literally just put it on the stove, char it a little, warm it up so it bends a little, but then chew on it. You still can't almost bite through it. It's just too hard. Will it hurt you? No. I mean, it's natural. That's real cheese there, but it's just so hard, like Rob said, you just can't eat it.
My favorite thing probably to do with parm rinds is to throw them in my slow cooker.
Yes. Oh my God. All of them together? In a pile? No, with something else.
No, with other, come on.
I'm like picturing this pile of rinds in your slow cooker.
No, like you can just put it with anything. I mean, have you ever made like meatballs in a slow cooker?
Yes.
Like that's really, like
toss in your parm rinds.
Toss in your parm rind. But
anything.
We used to have a little mini blowtorch. It's probably here in your house somewhere.
It is.
But we had it when I used to work in one of the shops, like probably in Mission Hills, because we used to do this thing at events sometimes where we would take a goat cheese. A lot of times it was Humboldt Fog, and we would put sugar on it, and we would brulee it.
Yep.
And it would like make that really kind of like glassy surface, like that sugary glass. And it was really fun. But I would use it, and I would just take the parm rinds and just blowtorch it until it softened up, and then you just pop it like a snack.
You can do it. So it's good. Yeah. So really, George, you can eat almost all of them, including, you talked about Alpines. Some of those you just see this dark brown rind, like Gruyere. I will eat that rind.
Yeah.
You don't like that rind, but you don't have to eat it, but you can eat it.
What I always, the first thing I always say when people ask about rinds, like especially in private events and classes and stuff, I'm like, it's up to you. I mean, there's no, if you like it, eat it. If you don't like it, don't eat it.
Yep.
So don't let anyone shame you into
one way or the other. Yeah.
But what I prefer is I don't mind a rind like a Gruyere or Comté rind, a natural rind. I just like to make sure that my paste to rind ratio is
more paste. Paste is the interior.
Like, I don't want just a rind.
Right.
I mean, do you like to just gnaw on a rind?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Well, there we have it.
I mean, come on. I'm not an animal, Gina.
You're not an animal.
Oh, wait.
Refusing to comment and go to pork rinds. That's another one. Talk about rinds, like pork belly rinds. George adds it to fettuccine Alfredo. What?
Oh, I like that.
That sounds good.
You know what that sounds like?
Thanks for that tip.
You know how when you put like potato chips in sandwiches and it gives you that crunch? That sounds good. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Again, goes to don't waste anything, because all of it can be used for some purpose or another.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Good one, George. Thank you.
All right, shall we do? Quadrello. We didn't really. Did we talk enough about? So it's from Lombardy. Okay.
Yep, and buffalo, gamey, tangy.
Yeah.
Very rich and fatty because buffalo milk is rich and fatty. Mm-hmm.
We did or I shouldn't take credit for it. Like who picked a Mission Hills? Who picked the cheese?
Mission Hills did all the Spanish theme.
I give lots of credit because we've got all the animals covered. We've got all the different textures covered. Lots of styles.
We haven't talked about this real quick.
I already had a piece, so I'll let
you did?
Yeah.
Man, oh man, chorizo.
I wanted to try it with quince, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be a good combination. Smell the chorizo, everybody, if you get the chance. Chorizo. So it's a pork salumi with the addition of paprika, a lot of paprika. Oh, it's so smoky. It's so good. But this is, Mexican foods and everything have a chorizo. Sometimes that's a very soft chorizo. This is more a cured chorizo, but I just absolutely love it. There's a chorizo blanco that has a lot less paprika. In fact, none. It's a blonde almost chorizo, but this is the classic chorizo that has this spice to it.
I like this one better. I like it just. They usually call it Vela, right? Is it Vela? Which probably means something spicy or I don't know. I like to balance it off with the quince paste, so it gives like a nice bite. I like
to get the sweet and salty. God, have we become all foodies in the world now? Because everybody knows you need that salt, fat, acid, heat. All of those together create a good bite, which is why the honey with the salt, the quince with the salt, the fruit.
I was thinking about that last night. I was like, man, I had a salad. Believe it or not, I had a salad last night.
What?
And I went into our fridge and I found oil and balsamic.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't think I need any. I mean, I literally had this thought. I'm like, I don't think I need anything else because this has everything.
Yeah.
Oil is your fat, and then your balsamic is your acid. It's like the perfect balance.
Yeah.
And it's what we always preach about when we talk about pairing. It's like it's contrasting. It's textural. I mean, it's got everything.
Everything.
Well, that's a good example.
Love.
Okay.
Okay.
Now for the big boy.
The big bad boy, the blues. One day we're gonna have to just do all blues.
Yeah.
You know what we should do that with is with sherry. Maybe that will be the time we do sherries and blues. That would be like the weird combo together, but super delicious.
We can, one of the stats I read, which I didn't realize this, is that Tempranillo is. I said it was blended earlier a lot. It gets blended into port wine a lot. And port. So port, sherry, Sauterne, they're all kind of like. They're very region based. Port is from northern Portugal, Jerez from southern Spain. I'm sorry, sherry, Jerez, southern Spain. Sauterne is basically Bordeaux. But they all are big, kind of desserty, fortified wines that will go with something like this.
The sweet. Again, because blues tend to be more salty. So then you want something more sweet to balance that.
Well, we got to try it on its own first, right?
Yes. So this is Shaft's Blue, also known as Mine Shaft Blue. Do you want to know why, Professor?
Why?
Well, because this comes from Placerville area of Northern California. Believe it or not, they age these cheeses in an old mine shaft just outside of Sacramento. What direction? East, northeast of Sacramento.
Is that right?
Is Placerville. East,
I don't know Sacramento.
East. Yeah. And mine shafts, so they call it Shaft's Blue. So this cave aging of blues goes back to the Roquefort days, right? I mean, that's just a common, ancient way of aging blues. So this happens to be a California version of it. What do we think of it? I haven't had this forever.
It's good. It's very tangy. It's very buttermilky to me.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Ooh.
I don't know if they add anything to the cheese. I know when we're doing some cheese making stuff, we'll add buttermilk.
Yes, buttermilk is a great thing. Jason loves it, and you nailed it, Jason, with the honey.
Oh yeah.
You need this with honey. Blue with honey should be on every. Okay. I've got honey all over me. But it's so good. Yes. Blue with honey is like peanut butter and jelly. It's like peas and carrots. What else goes together? Whatever things go together, blue and honey is it.
I'm trying to think of something funny.
You can't think of anything funny? Okay, got it. Orange and chocolate. Here's a little Spanish thing. You want to hear that? Spain was the country to discover oranges and chocolates together.
We actually have these little treats, these little chocolate-covered orange slices from Spain.
Everybody knows that orange that you at the holidays would crack open. It's like a Cadbury chocolate that it's like shaped like an orange. You crack it and all the segments open. And it's chocolate mixed with orange. Well, Spain invented this combination because Valencia oranges, Valencia, Spain, are super popular and huge. Tons of oranges grow in Spain. Chocolate in Spain. We have those 2-pound bars that come from Spain. Barcelona is hugely known for chocolate in Spain.
So here's a
Put
question.
The two together. I love it.
Is that kind of like saying tomato sauce in Italy? Because wasn't chocolate and tomatoes, aren't they both part of the Columbian exchange? Like, so didn't they get there after 1492?
Oh, maybe we talked about this in another tasting.
Maybe some genius out there knows this, but I have a feeling that they've kind of can I say appropriated it? Is that
do we have to say that word? Can't we just all share all of what we love?
Hey, you know what? Whoever does it the best, I'm down.
I'm down with that too. You brought up tomatoes. Okay, we all know that Spain has the running of the bulls. Is that Pamplona?
Yes.
Where the bulls run through the streets. You want to know another weird festival they have?
What's that?
The Tomato Fight Festival, where they throw tomatoes at each other.
Oh, I kind of like that.
No wonder they live long. They're drinking all day in the bars, the hundreds of bars that they have. They are having their siestas all afternoon. They're throwing tomatoes at each other.
I think I would probably get tomatoes thrown at me because of all my bad jokes.
You would definitely get lots of tomatoes thrown at you.
Yeah.
All right, so I got a recommendation from George about the blue with the dried peach, so I'm trying it right now. George,
that's a good call.
But I love the blue with the honey. Let's see if it
I was thinking that earlier.
tangs up. Ooh, super tangy. That's like a sweet tart. Do you ever eat sweet tarts? Try that together. Doesn't it make it like a sour, like a sweet tart?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's way more tangy than with the honey. That's a fun one. That's fun.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
Ooh.
It gets you in the jaw a little bit. Like.
Right back here. Right here.
Good.
Oh, learn something every day. I love that. And I say that every time we do this because every time we try something and it's new. But I like it. But blue's great cheeses. What do you think of the blue with the olive? I love it, as everyone knows. I think Rob pointed out, I will carry my own blue cheese olives to restaurants if I have to, just so I can have a martini with a blue cheese stuffed olive.
Well, the olive with the blue cheese, that is definitely like it's a complimentary thing where you're going salty, savory, and so it's
versus the honey.
Yeah, but I mean, if you like that, if you have that more savory tooth, then that's I mean, there's nothing better.
Are you savory tooth or sweet tooth?
Oh God, I don't even know.
Are you half and half?
Kind of, because I love sweets so much.
You do. I'm savory like 90% of the time.
Really?
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
Do you order dessert when you go out?
No.
Really?
Never. Because I can have one bite and I'm done. Isn't that weird? Like, so I'll share everybody else's. I'll let me have a bite, then it's good. That's
so my weakness, and this is why I'm like I can't say that I'm not a sweet tooth. My weakness is ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I on my way home, it's like Ben and Jerry's. I do this. I get Haagen-Dazs vanilla, and then I get like Ben and Jerry's for like all the added stuff, and I mix it all.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, he's got a scheme.
It's just dangerous, man.
It is dangerous. I love it. Well, I think these were all good. Nothing was too offensive tonight. Remember, some of our plates have been like, "How in your face?" This is not.
I mean,
this has just been pleasant. It's just like it is like happy hour. I'm good. Now I'm ready for a siesta, and then I'm going to go out and eat at 11 o'clock tonight.
I felt like the Quadrello was a little bit, like for me, it was a little stronger than I think I remember it being.
I agree. And it almost, to me, was more strong and a little more funky than the blue, which is odd, because usually you think the blue's going to be the funkiest of the bunch.
Everyone's different, and blues are not, for me, they're not offensive. Like, for some people, they can't even touch blues, can't even be around blues. For me, it's no big deal.
No big deal. Yeah. No. But with the olive, did you get into the kiwi? I can't, Rob. So that is one thing I'm allergic to.
Oh.
Is kiwi. And not bad, but my whole throat kind of gets itchy if I eat a kiwi.
I did not, though.
Yeah, but I think the kiwi with the blue would be spectacular. Right?
Yeah, let's try it.
Yeah, try it. See what you think. But awesome. Spain again, everybody. So are we going to do a Spain Veni Voyage someday? We will do a Spain Veni Voyage, which would have to include Basque, of course, the Basque region of Spain, of course, Barcelona, the Catalonia region of Spain. But then I think we got to go up kind of like to that La Mancha.
Yeah, I know we actually looked at it at one point in the past, and for some we have to. There's a lot of things that have to kind of fall into place to put those together.
Yeah.
And one is we need to have like boots on the ground. We have to have like other than
to get
us,
an inside. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and more than just cheesemakers that we know, we kind of need like some kind of insider that knows stuff.
Yeah.
But we looked at northern Spain, which is sometimes called Green Spain, which is
Green Spain.
Yeah, mm-hmm. There's a couple of regions which are like on the Bay of Biscay, so like around the Basque region, but that are there's a lot of national parks, mm-hmm. and so we were gonna do like a lot of and there's a lot of like small cheesemakers around there, so we were gonna do like a lot of like see a lot of natural beauty and do some hiking and stuff like that, and kind of have it be kind of mixed like that, because like if you go down to where the king of cheeses is made in La Mancha, it's not like very touristy. I mean, there's not really. It's not the best thing to build a trip around. To go out into some arid place where they're, making.
Let's just go for the tomato fight season.
But yeah, there's the Spain too it's still not quite as mainstream as say Italy or France. Mm-hmm. They just don't have as much of it's not set up like that yet for whatever reason.
And it should be. Yeah. The food is so good.
Mm-hmm.
The people so nice. Yeah. The lifestyle so great. But Italy gets all the credit.
True.
Yeah. This is why they send their olives to Italy to have pressed and then market it from Italy. I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? It's a fascinating cultural thing. But that's why I always say Spain is the most underrated for their wine and their food. Yeah. They just don't get the credit I think they deserve. We have 2, 3 maybe Spanish restaurants in town that people know of. Not very many. And
even for the cheeses, I mean, we definitely do not, we probably get half as many Spanish cheeses as we do from those other places. If that. I mean, so a lot of them we don't even see, so. Yeah,
Spanish. But very good. We hope you enjoyed this little foray into Spain. We're going to go more into Spain, Rob. You know why? Because next time, so Tempranillo, Rioja, that whole area, very famous. That's probably the most famous, I think, of Spain. Mm-hmm. But on the white side, the most famous is Albarino.
Okay, yeah.
I love Albarino. I just made an Albarino this year at Birds and Wine.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're going on the white side.
Was that Prince Panini?
Prince Panini. He has his own label. I think for the 8th year, I think we've had Prince Panini label.
I think I've seen your wine like at their place before. Or like whatever. Don't you leave something there? Do you age it there?
We leave it, and then the label is always
Is that
on
what
the
it
wall.
is? Maybe that's why I've seen that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So next time we're going to go white with the Albarino. So it's fun, and I'm anxious to see which cheeses we're going to put together with this, because we don't want to do the same. And I think we're going to make it a little more aggressive. George was mentioning, and Jason loved the plate, but it was very approachable. This was easy eating. There was nothing on here that made you go, oh my God, that is wacky.
Is approachable a nice way of saying like too mild? Do we want to get funkier?
I want to get funkier, and I think with the Albarino we can. So think of this. Typically I think people think you go with the red wine and get funky stuff with it, but I think the white could use a little funkiness.
Well, here's a quick tip about reds. So pairing red wine is trickier. Like you can mess up a red wine pairing a lot easier than messing up a white wine or a beer pairing.
True.
And so like you can be a lot riskier with the whites.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So Rob, the next one, 2 weeks. Hope to see you at Albarino. Yeah. After that though, you guys, here come the holidays.
Holidays are going to be insane. I know we're planning on a few more in-person things.
We are.
There's going to be a fondue.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be big.
In Del Mar.
Yes.
We're gonna maybe do something.
Fondue raclette.
Fondue raclette. Well, we're gonna do some kind of raclette in the park again.
That was big. Oktoberfest will be back. Everyone will come because it's gonna be big.
Yeah, I think
I missed Parktoberfest, but Rob was in on it.
It was so much fun. Well, should we say now it's the date?
Sure.
Of the raclette in the park. I don't know if it's on the website yet. Okay. But it's going to be in Mission Hills at Presidio Park on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, which would be the 28th?
Yes.
It's late this year. And we're going to have a big party because of how fun it was last time we hung out in the park
and just scrape the raclette. So
casual
kickback.
Set out some tables and chairs and
super fun. That's right. I forgot that's the date, and we will get it on the site. We thank you all for joining. George liked that it's definitely better than too funky. Mm-hmm. Like if you have all too funky, that's too funky. Yeah. So that's we like to mix it up.
Yeah.
Gotta try it
good.
out. Gotta try it out. My favorite tonight was the Quadrello.
Interesting. I don't know.
I wouldn't have guessed that it would have been. I would have guessed the Poe would have been my favorite.
I think my favorite was probably the shafts.
The shafts. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Everything's good. We thank you all, as always, for eating cheese, coming to Venissimo, just supporting us, and I hope you enjoy the night. Drink the rest of your wine. I know I will. And on behalf of RobbyG and me, we say, what do you say? Adios?
Ciao, adios.
Ciao. Good night. Sleep tight.
Pause.
And, pause?
Is that peace?
I don't know. Peace. Peace out, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great evening. See you soon. Bye.